what just happened in the markets today? Did anyone notice there was something was kind of off today? Yesterday in the pre-market, the markets fell huge, right? It fell a lot after Trump's speech, and oil prices spiked up like 12%, and yet the markets also spiked. I thought the markets were inversely correlated to oil. I thought Trump escalating the war and saying we would bomb them to the Stone Age would signal that we were going deeper into the war and that stocks would drop, but the markets went up. So that's going to be the subject of this video, just to talk about, first of all, one of my favorite I guess really smart traders that I follow. His name is Shapiro, and this is his YouTube channel, Crowded Market Report. So his idea, or his main trading strategy, is looking at positioning and seeing, basically trading on a risk reward basis, where it's basically like, if you see a lot of like people are overwhelmingly long, then it like, logically speaking, right, if everyone is long, there's no one else to become long, right? So like the risk reward ratio, the reward of you joining the long side is much lower than the risk, right? Versus if you were joining the short side, right, then you have this entire pool of people that are long who might potentially turn short. But then if you're long, you're not gonna go even, like, you can go even more long, right? But there's a cap, right? So that's kind of his that's kind of how I see his mentality. He weighs a lot of things, right? Positioning, market sentiment, and market action. But I do recommend his channel a lot. And if you want to, like, just watch his last video, and you kind of you can kind of gauge already, like, how he trades, how he thinks about the market. And whenever you look for someone new, whenever you see someone new and you hear what they're talking about, it's really refreshing when they don't sound all matter-of-factly, right? Because no one knows the market, right? If you knew the market, if you understood it 100%, if you were super confident, you would be a bajillionaire, right? And he seems very real, so I definitely recommend his channel, Crowded Market Report. I'll leave a link down below. But let's go into it, right? So after Trump's speech yesterday night, the futures tanked. Oil prices spiked. He said, we're going to go even deeper into the Iranian war, and we're going to go even harder, going to go ham. And he also mentioned something about leaving, and then how if other countries that actually need their fuel, need their energy, they should go in themselves, right? So if you wanted peak volatility, if you wanted peak uncertainty, that speech alone would have given you peak uncertainty, peak volatility, peak fear, right? And you see crude futures up 11%, right? Yet VIX is down, right? Over the day, the VIX is down. S&P is up. NASDAQ is up. Dow is barely down 0.13%. And so isn't that weird how oil futures spiked up more than 10%? That's like the biggest rise in years. Since what is this? Since 2022. Come on. That's a massive rise, right? And I'm pretty sure this is due to Ukrainian and Russian war. But there's something else I wanted to look at, right? Something else that I learned from Jason Shapiro is, when you're looking at sentiment shift, right? What you want to look at is when you see something bullish happen, right? What you want is, you know how everyone says that the NASDAQ is usually the most volatile, right? And then it's a SPY, and then it's the Dow, right? So when you see bullish sentiment, when you see some bullish news, ideally, you would want the NASDAQ to move the most, and then the SPY, and then the Dow, right? If it's the other way around, if the Dow moves the most and the Qs move the least, or the Qs are even negative on bullish news, the Dow is up, that's not that great, right? That still signals that people are still kind of worried and don't want to move into the Nasdaq or move into more high beta, I guess, more volatile equities, right? But today, the SPY went up 0.11%, the Nasdaq went up 0.18%, right? So this is what we're looking for, right? The Dow moved the least. It did spike back up, right? But it moved the least. The SPY moved the middle, the second most, I guess. I don't know this, and the Nasdaq actually had the highest movement up, highest positive up movement, right? And you can even say that it would have been higher if it weren't for idiosyncratic news. For example, Tesla's delivery numbers. So is this the bottom of the? Is this the bottom? Should you buy now? I don't know, right? I don't know, but I think that sentiment is starting to shift. Where did we? We got bad news in the form of Trump, right? And yet equities rallied along with oil prices, right? Oil prices spiking is not good news, and yet equities also moved up. So that's just something to think about. And again, these are like Jason Shapiro stresses looking at basically positioning I feel like is similar to looking at liquidity, where if everyone is long, right, then you don't really have any more liquidity to go long, because then the only liquidity left is people going short, right? People either selling the stock, selling short, or just not being or not caring about the market at all. He also talks about don't fight the tape, which is basically another way of saying don't fight momentum, right? Don't short just because you see the fundamentals are there, or don't buy just because you see the fundamentals are there, because you want to wait it out. And that's definitely something I need to learn about. That's definitely something I need to improve upon. But I just think that like that channel is like a trove of wisdom, in my opinion. So check his channel out. And today, also another thing. Usually, it's a 3-day weekend, right? It's a long weekend. Most of the time, in times of uncertainty, when you have a long weekend, people are worried of being long or short any position over the weekend, because they don't know what's going to happen, right? Especially if for a normal weekend, you have 2 days of uncertainty, right? Because anything could happen in those 2 days. Versus if it's only like, if you're only holding overnight, you only have like 8 hours or so, 16 hours. Over 2 days, that's 48 hours. Over 3 days, that's 72 hours. And yet people are still buying in. So that's just something to think about. Is this the bottom? Again, I don't know, but there are some bullish indicators hidden in today's action, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm pretty stoked, right? Because these past few weeks, Monday could come and the shit could hit the fan, right? But hopefully it's hopefully, right? That's just my opinion. But if you're looking at the indicators, if you're looking at sentiment, if you're looking at like trends, maybe this could be the bottom. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe shorts capitulated. Maybe something happened. Maybe people just thought, okay, well, it fell enough, time to start buying. I hope. Random video, I guess. Just a lot of stuff happened today, and I thought it was really interesting, and I thought I'd share. First of all, his channel, right? For some thoughts on market action, and yeah, that's it. All right, peace, bye.